So, are you thinking about starting intermittent fasting? Well, today I'm going to teach you how to set up your eating and fasting windows as a beginner. Let's get into it. Hey, I'm Alexa Klein, dietitian, sports dietitian, and nutrition coach. Now, before we get into today's topic, I want you to first subscribe, ring the bell. Awesome. So intermittent fasting can be quite effective, but it needs to be done correctly. And the first thing you need to decide on is when are you going to fast and when are you going to eat? Because that's going to dictate how lifestyle compatible it is for you as the individual. So when should you? When should you fast and when should you eat? Well, that's what we're going to discuss now. So first, let's get one thing straight. If you're even thinking about doing intermittent fasting now and you're a beginner at it, you want to get started with 16-8, okay? The 16-8 method, where you fast for 16 hours and you eat during an 8-hour period. The reason being is this is a more of a conservative approach to intermittent fasting, but also it kind of replicates general eating patterns a bit more effectively and a bit more easily than the other methods would. And that's why it's my recommendation. The 16-8 is my recommendation. It's the one that I personally use for myself and for any clients who want to get started with intermittent fasting. Okay, so now that we've established that though, you got the question, when should you eat? When should you fast? When should you start your fasting? When should you start your eating? And so on and so forth, even within the framework of 16-8. Well, here is the simple 3-step process you can use as a beginner to get started. Step number 1 is you want to be eating mindfully for about 2 to 4 weeks, okay? Just eating normally, eating mindfully, just kind of doing your normal daily routine when it comes to food for 2 to 4 weeks. The reason being is this is going to create a baseline, or let's provide you some baseline data in terms of how you actually operate outside of the scope of a rigid plan, so to speak. The big thing you want to be looking for is the times that you feel hungry, okay? Is specifically the first time that hunger hits. But you also want to differentiate between whether this is psychological hunger or actual physiological hunger, because there is a big difference and you want to be looking for that physiological hunger cues. And that's why 2 to 4 weeks can give you a bit more data around where you truly are hungry and not hungry. You also want to be looking at your habitual patterns when it comes to food. You want to get a good idea of what kind of style of eating you have and incorporate it into your lifestyle. You want to see kind of what trends are there, that are happening. You want to see what cravings occur, all that sort of stuff, because that's going to give you some more extra data, so to speak, to inform the decision making when it comes to implementing the actual intermittent fasting regimen and when or when not to actually fast and not fast. So yeah, that's step 1, to really kind of get a baseline idea of where you are starting from. That's going to inform you in a more correct and accurate way. Step 2 is the 2 and 5 rule. Now, what's the 2 and 5 rule? Well, it's actually quite simple. It's now that when you've established that you want to do intermittent fasting, you've got your baseline data, you now want to give the intermittent fasting, the 16-8 regimen, a go on 2 days of the week, but not on the other 5 days. Okay, this is just an easy way to ease yourself into it without the guidance of a dietitian, because then you can kind of not really ruin things, so to speak, but still get some momentum, some traction, get some change happening. Then step 3 is when you transition to the full 16-8 diet on all days of the week. Now, by this point, you should have enough data to inform when you should or should not be starting your fasting based on when you actually are feeling hungry, which you would have got from step 1. Because once you know that, at 11 a.m. is when I truly feel physiological hunger, when perhaps that should then be your starting point for your eating window. You just do it at 8 hours after that, that's when you stop. Fasting 16 hours, so on and so forth. So yeah, step 3 is really about now implementing the 16-8 regimen into your lifestyle, using the data you previously gained to actually decide on a starting point for your fasting window and starting point for your eating window, and just doing that, okay? Just starting to do that for 2 to 4 weeks or even longer, just to see how it works. Because now the next part is, now that you've done the first 3 steps, is you have the following information. 1, does actual intermittent fasting suit you? It doesn't suit everyone, and that's perfectly okay. And 2, does that eating window actually suit you? Because maybe you realize, the 11 to 7 doesn't actually suit me. Maybe I'll adjust it here or there. Because remember, it's all an iterative process. Everyone's an individual. You are an individual, and therefore your approach should be individual. At this point though, once you've implemented this and done this and you still feel overwhelmed, then that's the point at which you reach out, okay? Then you send me a message, send me an email or a DM on Instagram and let me know that you need help, and I can see if I can personally help you implement the intermittent fasting regimen in your lifestyle while still getting results. Because remember, you don't get brownie points for trying to do it alone. I'm here to help. So there you go, a super simple, super quick, and super easy way for you to start implementing a regimen around 16-8 intermittent fasting without affecting your results too much, because a very conservative approach to it. I hope you use this as your initial guiding tool when getting started. But like I said, it's always best, especially when you're doing these more complex diets or things that are completely different, so to speak, to what you're usually used to. It's always good to get a dietitian on board to work with you, really kind of take out the guesswork and give you that roadmap, that nutrition plan that actually fits within your lifestyle. Because that's what we do. We assess someone and we create a design a plan that fits around someone's lifestyle, because that's going to get you the best results. It's going to make it easier for you, and it's going to make it the most safest, healthiest way to implement any change, especially something such as intermittent fasting, which a lot of people get wrong, and a lot of people tend to go from conservative to overboard in an incorrect way and to their detriment. So if you want me to personally help you look into the intermittent fasting regimen, specifically 16-8, and get some help around that, apply now, okay? There's a link in the description below to apply for my nutrition coaching experience. Well, literally think of me as your Sherpa, okay? We're climbing that mountain of change. We're trying to get you that peak physique, peak performance, or peak health, whatever it is, that peak potential of yours. And I'm that Sherpa, helping you get there by providing that roadmap, the guidance, and the accountability that you need to find success. So if this is something of interest to you, please apply now. Otherwise, you can shoot me a message and ask more questions about it. But yeah, apply. There's no harm in that. Get in touch with you, and we'll go from there. Of course, if you have any questions about today's video, please drop them in the comments below and let me know. I will help you out. Otherwise, if you're a bit more shy and you want to send me an email, that's perfectly okay. Send me an email at alexa@theclimbingdietitian.com.au. Smash that like button if this video has been helpful. If you've now got more clarity around how to start with intermittent fasting, hit the like button, show me that it's been helpful. Appreciate it. Subscribe as always if you haven't already done so. Stay classy. I'll see you next time. Have a good one.